Good morning, you guys. We are going to make a branding board for your business today. So, I am super excited to share this with everyone. It is so important for your business to have a set on brand styling guide so that as you create content for your website or your social media or where any platform at all, you're staying on brand. So, the client today that I am going to do a branding board for has a beautiful website, but it's had many designers that have worked on it and done different things. So, we have ended up with a site with lots of different colors, lots of different fonts. And that makes it really hard to move through the website and have it feel cohesive. So, what we're going to do today is build the branding board, and I'm going to show you guys how I do that. So, I like to use Canva. So, we're going to go to Canva. First, I want to show you guys some branding boards that I have already done. The Shih Tzu Nursery is one of my favorite clients, and her website is beautiful. I love Veronica. She stays on brand with everything that she does, and that results in awesome sales. Everything that your client experiences when they're on your website has an effect. So, this is her branding board. We have her fonts and her colors, and she stays within those. She keeps her logo on everything. So, if you go to her website, let's go to the home page, you can see it's just beautiful. Everything is within the approved colors. I did this website for her. I did not draw the dogs, but she an artist do the dogs, but we did a beautiful website. She continues to invest more in her website because that is ultimately what results in sales. She has done a lot of the editing herself and learned how to work in the Divi Builder to design these beautiful websites with me. She watermarks everything. She stays within the approved fonts so that as her clients move through her website, they do not have an experience that is not cohesive. Everything moves perfectly. We even designed these I found my forever so that instead of just marking sold over here, she can just add this picture to the slider. So, everything's on brand. It's beautiful. It's so pretty to look at. Um, Everything is cohesive, and that's what I want for every one of my clients. But you can end up in a situation where if you have lots of designers, or you're the type of person you see something new and you try to incorporate it into your website because it's beautiful, like little things like this, that can bring in a different color, or like in this, there's a different font than the approved fonts. When you start to do that, like if we look down here, more different fonts, it really creates what I call cognitive dissonance, which means your brain doesn't, there's so much going on, it's difficult for your brain to process all the new things that consistently is looking at, and that creates a feeling of inconsistency. That's not the feeling that we want when somebody lands on our website. We want them to feel a sense of, oh, this is so consistent and easy to look at. They're going to have a much more enjoyable experience. And when you have a cohesive design, you look like a professional. So I know it's hard. You get bored with your design over time. Like you're just like, I need something new and fresh. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Leave it as it is, because when someone freshly lands on your website and everything, all the, 50, 60 pages that you have invested in your website, when it all has the same colors, that person is going to love your website, and it's going to feel so easy for them to move around your website and look at it, and they will stay longer, and it will result in more sales for you. So, what do we do for our branding board? We've talked a little bit about why it's important. Let's get started. So, I like to use Canva for my branding boards. I do a lot of design in a lot of different programs. Canva is awesome for your business if you want to get it. Um, you can easily work in it and create designs. So here are some other branding boards you can kind of see that we have done for other clients. Um, I like to go up here, click create a design. I do 3000 by 3000 just because that's a pretty good size. You don't load images up to your website that are that big, but you can change the size down smaller when you download it from Canva to your desktop. So I'm going to put the client's name in here. We start with the logo. logo determines everything on the website. Our color palette is going to come from the logo. So I'm going to put that right there. Now let's add a line. Perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to add a text box, and we're going to call it the branding board. I love it. Okay, so now let's keep everything on brand. So I'm going to look at her website. So she has a lot of different fonts going on here. I'm just going to pick a few, and then we will have to, basically I'll go back to the client and say, okay, you have these fonts going on. Pick 2. 2 is generally a good place. 3 can be okay. Just be very careful. If you're using your heading settings, be very careful how you use that. You want the text to be the same font, but you can pick 2 different fonts at the most for headings. So let's see, let's go back to Canva. Here is the branding board for the Shih Tzu nursery. You can see she has quite a few colors. I generally stay with like 4 max, but she has done these are all from her logo. There's the blue, there's the pink. They all mesh so well that this was an okay thing to do. So anyways, I'm going to close out of that. Okay, so let's go back to the client. She has this font. You will find actually that a lot of people, the font can be named multiple different things across the internet. You can find it in, this name, that name. We are going to do lovely. That actually matches her website font. It's just being spaced out a little bit. So if I type in here, watch this, poodly doodly do, you can see that actually matches the font, but the spacing is more. So they added spacing between the letters. So if I was to go up here and go letter spacing more, looks exactly like her website. I do feel like it fits a little bit better not having quite so much space. Gives a more together feel, which that's what we want to create, because the emotions that you create are the emotions that your clients is going to feel. When people make purchases, it's all about the feelings. All right, so let's do that. I'm going to hit copy and paste is what I did there on my keyboard. So I'm going to put font lovely because that is what she has. Doesn't need to be quite okay. And then I'm going to, here I'll do it with my cursor so that you can actually see it. Copy, paste. Let's move that one up. And then her other font that I see a lot in the headings of her website, this one right here is Cherry Moya. Let's see, I'm going to search for the font. Okay. Make sure your fonts, when you're using them on your website, that they are licensed. If you go download a free font online and you upload and use it on your website, you need to have a specific license. It's kind of like the same concept as a condom. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it and have issues with your website because someone says, hey, you're using a licensed font that I created and you did not pay for the commercial license. So like if you go to Creative Market, you can find tons of awesome digital products that people have made that you can find, and you can search typography and there's all these awesome fonts. And if you were to download one and use it on your website, that one's kind of cool. You can actually say, I want a web font, which it's more money. And when I use a custom font on my clients' websites, we buy the license and then we upload it to the website. But we actually purchase the license in the process to do that. You don't want to be going around having a website that you're using different fonts that you didn't pay for the web font license for it to use on one website. And you can actually click on down here on like the licensing. If you have questions, it'll even tell you like oh, if you have 100,000 people visiting your pages, that your website, you need this license. So these designers, these digital creators, this is how they make their money, and I think it's disrespectful if you don't, pay for the licenses that are applicable. When we build websites, we just include it in our cost when we design your website. So if I have to, I charge you what I charge you, and then if I need to go buy a custom font, I go buy it, and we pay for the license and then upload it to your website. We don't say, hey, we're going to have to add a license to, unless you're getting some kind of a specific thing where we come to you and say, okay, this package that you picked for your website, you're going to need to pay for this font. Or let's say we already bought 2 custom fonts and the licensing for it. We might come back and say, okay, we've already bought a bunch of licenses. If you changed your mind 3 times, now you're going to have to pay for your licenses, every additional font license for your website. But we try to include it in there, at least 1 or 2 custom fonts if we want to use a custom font on your website, which can give you a unique look. If you're not just using the free commercial Google fonts, like these fonts.google, if you're using those are commercially licensed for everybody. They come right, like WordPress has it. There's plugins that you can use. So anyways, kind of got off on a tangent there, but let's go back to the branding board. So fonts, we've got that. And it looks like she is using on her website for the text. This is just a very basic free Arial type. Well, that might not be. That W is a little different. But right here, see, look, it's different again. So we are literally seeing like at least 8 different fonts just on this one page. That's an issue that's a very big design issue. It does not give a cohesive feeling like, what you feel when you see this. You can see this font matches this font. This one is different. So she has 2 fonts that we're using, but she does not stray from that across any of the pages. And this is just a basic free font. These are just really basic fonts that they're not even custom. So easy to look at. All of her pictures have the watermark. So her design is so cohesive. You can even see that where this name is right here, it's the same font right there. So that's what we want to create and that's why the branding board is so important, because you need to stay on brand. No matter what you're doing, go to her Instagram. It's all the same thing. So anyways, let's pick out, I'm pretty sure that's a very general font that, like, it's Arial is like one of the most common fonts. It looks like very close to that. So I'm going to go down here. Just something very simple. Pretty sure it's Arial. Something very close to that. Could even find... But basically, her website needs to be gone through every single page and, like, okay, we are not going to deviate from these fonts so that everything comes into a really, like I say, cohesive design so that you get that good feeling. I'll even click on this. I kind of like that. And then I'll look at the fonts together. Look how well those work together. So if you had a heading and then your paragraph is in that, I don't like that. I don't like how that E looks. Let's go back and look at some different fonts. I don't like that. Okay. No, we looked at those. Let's go down to some regular. Something very simple. Usually if you have a cursive font, you want your paragraph fonts to be just very plain, very simple. You want something super easy to read. I like that one, but I know that we can find one that's very like Arial Times New Roman, that type of thing for her website that's going to be easy, that we don't need to upload a custom font to her website. I have so many fonts, it's insane. Okay. Glacial Indifference, that's one I really tend to like. It usually goes well with just about everybody's. Let's see what the letter spacing. Yeah, let's turn that down to normal, which would be 0. I do like that. That tends to be a very, like, well-rounded, easy to read, nice for paragraphs. Let me see if there is another one. This is just kind of the process that we go through with each client. It's time consuming. We are going to be selling branding boards that we will make a branding board for your company for $100. So we basically will go through and put this together. If you want to do it yourself, get into Canva and follow the steps and then save it on your phone so that you can, or on your desktop, wherever it is that you're working and doing stuff, that will, ooh, I like that. Make it so that you stay on branding and you remind yourself, okay, this is what we use. That's not what we use. I do really like those. They're just a little bit too similar. So I'm going to go... There we go. That's very close to the other one, Glacial Indifference. That is almost like exactly the same. That's funny. Muller. That looks like a custom font. Yeah. Not loving it. Open Sans. That looks... I like that. It has a little bit of a something to it. Let's see. I don't know if it... I don't feel like it totally matches that. Maybe something a little bit thinner to complement the thickness of that cursive font might be better. We could even do something... Playfair Display is one I consistently use across websites. That's pretty. I do like that. Let's see what else. I would like something just thin, easy to read. That's thinner than the other ones. Beautiful. Look how well those complement each other. So, this one is Quicksand. So we're just going to type that in. I like that. Look how well, if you had a heading of a paragraph in Lovely, and then the rest of the text underneath, the body is in Quicksand, it's gorgeous. And this one is Cherry Moya. So I'm going to leave this on here, but definitely have a conversation with the client and say, okay, you get 2. Which one is it? Because we're going to stay on brand. And I definitely favor these 2 as a combination, but everyone's different and you need to have that confidence in your website and love what you're looking at. So I will basically go to the client and say, hey, look, we've got these 2 things. Which ones do you like that make you happy? Let's pick them and stay consistent. I like that font too. Anyways, okay, so then we're going to go over here to Elements. We're going to pick a paint swish. All right, this is where we're going to do some color work. We're going to pick colors out of this logo. The client sent me this screenshot. So you can actually go to, I like to go, sometimes I will go to Etsy and just pick, I'll type in color palette. Let's type in digital art. So you can kind of start to see a bunch of color palettes. Or let's just say that, like right here, you take a screenshot of this because you like the colors. You can go to Etsy and find lots of things. Let's just do mint and gold. That's all. You don't even have to be specific. Things will pop up. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I love those earrings. Digital art. Okay. So, oh my gosh, like this is just beautiful. So what I would do is I'd take a screenshot on my phone, then I would text it to myself. So I open messages on my laptop and then move the image over to the desktop. Then like I did over here, you're going to move the image on here because it will let you, Canva will let you pick from the colors. Okay. So this swish is this color. Let's see if you want to change the color. Oh, it's not pulling the right colors that I want from that image. So usually I'll go to PicMonkey. If I can't pick a color out, I'm sure there's a way to do it in Canva. I love PicMonkey though because of how easy it is to pick a color out. I'm going to open this in PicMonkey.com, and then I'm going to add a text box. Okay, so here's my text box, and then I'm going to go over here to text color, and it's going to give me the option right here to pick the dropper. So then I'm going to hover over the color that I like. This is what the client sent me, that they said, I really like these colors. So I really like the beige we have going on here. So then it's going to tell me right over here, since I picked the color, now that's the color code. I'm going to copy it, come back over to Canva, and then I can click on this little color wheel while I'm selected on the paint swish, come over to the color wheel, and then I'm going to paste it right there. Now I can see that there's my color. Then I'm going to take one of my approved fonts from over here and then change, let's do this one. I like how easy that is to read, and I'm going to paste the color code. Oh, that did not work. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to go back to PicMonkey. Copy, come over here, and then we are going to paste the color code. Okay, and then I am going to move that up here. Perfect. And then I'll do this, hit copy, paste, and then we go to the next paint swatch that we want the client to use. You know what? I found a color swatch that I really liked in here for the client. It had the mint, the mauve that she likes. And the mint there is lighter mint in the logo. I tend to go for lighter overall colors on a website and use the darker, something from the darker end, like this purple or this pink, for buttons or links. So the text is in black, and then a link will be in a darker color so that links pop out for the client, for the website, for the use of the clients and the customers. So let's do this, and let's edit the color to this minty green. I love that. And then we're going to look at the color code so that it's easy while I'm doing the design on the website, or while you're doing anything, you can be like, okay, I'm just going to copy that and paste it because we've already got it. Look how similar that is, but not quite. And then I also really do like this color. I can ask the client, I can add multiple colors, and then basically tell the client which ones are your favorite out of all of these colors. And then we just continue to do that. And by the time we are done, you're going to have a beautiful branding board that is going to help you stay on point and on brand with all of your clients' needs and with all of your needs. If you're building a website or you're working on Instagram, you need to stay on brand. It is going to change the way that your clients experience all of your stuff. If they are moving from Instagram to your website, we want the experience to be cohesive. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I don't think that there's anything more to add to this. I'm going to be coming out with more videos, mostly for my clients that want to do things themselves. We're going to be also offering products so that we can do this for our clients that just don't have the time or don't want to mess with it. So we can get you a branding board so to help you stay on brand. Also, watermarking if you need help, if you want your logo to be semi-transparent, kind of like the Shih Tzu Nursery, how we are doing these semi-transparent watermarking. Whatever looks best for your logo type, we will do that. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and happy